the guest appearance this week, I'm so excited about it. She is a reporter at Fox Sports 1340 AM in Hopewell, host of the Sports Smarts podcast series at National Sports Media Association. She's a sideline reporter at Georgetown University and the Big East. She has covered the NBA Finals, the Super Bowl, out of Baltimore, Maryland. We welcome award-winning sports reporter and host Kelsey Nicole Nelson to the show. Kelsey, how are you?
Hey, I'm great. Thanks for having. Look, I love that. I love that intro. I am great. I'm excited to join y'all. Y'all talking about Baltimore Justice. So look, I'm happy. I'm happy to be.
We're so excited for you to be on the show, Kelsey. We're ready to talk some sports with you, man.
Yes, we are. But we're gonna get to some sports plans. Pump the brakes. Let's talk about Kelsey real quick. Let's talk about you, Kelsey. Let's get right to it. I know you grew up in Montgomery County, Maryland, but you attended Clarksburg High School. Can you talk about your experience growing up in the state of Maryland and how it impacted your life overall?
Yeah, let me tell you, there's no place like the DMV. I'm so honored to grow up here. I love it. That's why I went to school here, Maryland and Georgetown. It's just such a unique place and helped me become who I am. My family's Southern, so I'm that Southern belle that was born in the DMV area. But there's always stuff going on. It was easy to get into sports here, right? We have everything. And then there's such a mix of culture. Like go-go music is part of my blood. We put mumbo sauce on all of our chicken. Like it's just
whoa.
And then football and crabs. Like that's what we do. We love football. We love our crabs, our crab cakes. And I wouldn't take it away. So I love Maryland. See, I'm rocking the gold. That's in our state flag. But I love it. And so I'm thankful. My high school was just amazing. I was part of the four-year graduating class there. And I got to do a lot there. It was over the yearbook, newspaper, played sports, got my feet wet into the industry. And then kind of the rest is history, as they say. So I love it. Shout out to Clarksburg. Shout out to Montgomery County and all the great people out there.
I love the energy, Kelsey, and I really do. And while we trying to understand Maryland, I be trying to like follow like the Ravens because Lamar he be like be more. He's like, yeah, we in a be more Maryland. So I be like, okay, I don't know what that means or that slang, but I want to ask you this.
Yeah,
so tell me, like, when did you realize you wanted to be a sports journalist growing up?
Yeah. And so I always tell this story. Like I was always a daddy's girl. Like I literally have a girl daddy. It's me and my sister. My dad was at Grambling State University. So like literally I grew up in a football world. I grew up with Bayou Classics and HBCU sports. And so I always had to be around the game. I loved playing the game. I knew I wanted to play sports, but I think in high school, I was that injured player. I was like, I don't know about these things. So I think the next best thing and cover the sports. And that's what I wanted. I just always wanted to be around the game. I've always loved talking to people and telling stories. I think high school is like, you know what? I'm going to make this a career. And then ever since then, no one's been able to stop me. So it's just been trying to continue to grow and trying to just continue to grow the brand and connect with so many great fans.
Now, Kelsey, what sports did you play when you were in high school?
I played basketball and volleyball.
Okay. Basketball and volleyball. Okay. Which one excited you the most? Which one did you have the most passion for, basketball or volleyball?
Passion for basketball, but I didn't start playing volleyball until high school. So for me, I think volleyball was fun just because I learned it in high school and you got to grow with the sport. And volleyball is a lot. Look, I had a lot of bad elbows and knees for a while, but I'm back now, back better than ever. Look, as you get older, I promise it does not get worse. I think I'm in the state of my life.
Man. See, honestly, I love volleyball. I love volleyball, to be honest, because I played volleyball in high school. Not for the team though, but when it was in gym, I was happy. Oh, I'm trying to play volleyball, like because I was like serving and spiking. It was exciting. It was competition too. But yeah, definitely. So Kelsey, so can you tell me, like, you a sports journalist and sports journalism and you're a reporter. Can you tell us like the obstacles about being like a journalist and a reporter though? It seemed like you just always busy. Like I looked at your resume. You previously worked for NASCAR, SB Nation, NBC Sports, Washington Arena Football League. So can you tell me like the obstacles in that like career?
Oh my gosh, where do I start? Like how long is this show again? No, I'm just playing. But a lot. Like, I mean, I think you choose this career because you want to work. It's a career where you have to put a lot of work in. You are always busy. I am that friend that always is changing schedules, can't make happy hours because whoops, something came up. I have to be there. I have to cover that. But I love it. I'm that person that loves the thrill. I like that no day is the same. And look, I'm a Black woman in sports. There's a lot of obstacles every day that you face. You talked about working for NASCAR. People don't expect someone that looks like me. I just was at Super Bowl in February. I kind of stood out on Radio Row. Not many Black women in sports talk radio. And so it's always an obstacle. You always have people thinking you don't know what you're talking about. You have people judging you by your looks all the time, your weight. It's a lot. It's a lot. Like I said, it's something that I love. It's something that I want to do. No one's going to talk me out of it. And I think it's important for people like me to be here to make sure that we create more space for people that look like me to come through the doors. So it's not as hard for them. And of course, we have to thank the pioneers that came before. But it's a lot. It's busy schedules. If you have a family, look, you have to have people that understand in your life because your schedule is just so crazy and busy.
Yeah.
Every day. And of course, now with COVID, we're all kind of asking, well, what's next? What are we doing? How are we transforming? Yeah. I had to completely change my show now to do interviews like we're doing now. Lots of Zoom interviews, lots of Zoom.
Yeah. Right.
Yeah. I'm from my house, not as, not at the games. And now for sideline reporting, I'm pretty much probably not doing it. You see college sports getting canceled left and right. And so,
oh, God.
Yeah. What?
But, I love it.
Yeah, we'll get into that here shortly. And you kind of mentioned it a little bit when you were just talking. Let me ask you a question, Kelsey. As a female sports reporter, being in sports and just in general, sometimes I think that women get overlooked a lot. And can you discuss some of the challenges that you've had to overcome and how it motivates you to want to accomplish more being in the sports broadcasting industry?
Yeah, that's a great question. So,
great question.
I think our voices are unfortunately still silenced. We're still always thought of as last. And then sometimes I think we're supposed to be that token. Well, let's just get a woman to get a woman. No, get a woman because she's qualified and she can do her job and she's going to do it to the best of her ability and maybe better than you. That's my mindset and that's my frame. But again, we're judged so often and so easily. You still have women sometimes waiting to get into locker rooms, right? Like, oh, is it appropriate for a woman to be there? What do you mean? Like, what do you mean?
Right.
Just the craziness that we face every single day. And then, you always stand out. And again, you have people always questioning, well, how did she get there? Why is she there? So it's always having to answer those questions. So you have to be confident in yourself. And I always say, if you're in a room, know you're supposed to be there and own it. Own it. Make sure people know your name and that they know the quality of your work. And I think as women, it's something we have to do to the best because we're not allowed to make mistakes. Because if a female makes a mistake, no one's going to let her live it down, especially the people with the happy Twitter fingers. They won't let you forget it. So it's always kind of having to be perfect. But I say being perfect is just being prepared for anything that comes up because that's what sports is. COVID came. You had to be prepared, right?
Right.
Technically prepared, but if you know your stuff, just like an interview, things change, right? You might be waiting to interview one player. Well, wait. He got injured. So now it's another focus. You just always have to be prepared for what's next. But as women, again, we have to do our job 2 times, 3 times. And as a Black woman, probably 8 times better than everything else.
Right. Now, we got a couple more questions before we get into some sports, Clarence. Go ahead. You got another one you want to ask her?
It was just a short, brief one though, Kelsey. Like, you growing up, you wanted to be this sports journalism and you was into sports. What was your biggest motivator? Like that kept you on high water?
Yeah, I have to say my parents, like literally my parents, especially my dad and my mom, there was at least one of them were always at every single game. And I had those parents that always, I can do anything. So growing up, you couldn't tell me anything because look, now my dad said I could be here, I can do this. So look, and it was great having that support. And that's why I'm a big, big, big proponent of parents being involved in their children's lives in athletics. And if their parents aren't there, they need some type of guardian or person, mentor, somebody that can be there to support them because those relationships so early on are so important. So I have to thank them, for doing it. Even now, and thank gosh, I still live in the same area. They'll be at my games and I'm sideline reporting. My mom's like, that's my baby. She's the one. It's awesome. And I have to say, like, having their support meant the world because, again, I knew I could do anything and they've always pushed and propelled me. And they, came on this journey with me. They didn't know what it was like to have a daughter in this industry, but, they're embracing it. They're loving it. And it's so great to have them along for the journey.
Now, I know you've covered the NBA finals, the WNBA finals, the Super Bowl. What was your first major sports event that you covered? And what was that experience like? And how nervous, Kelsey, were you?
Yeah, that's a great question. So I think it depends on what you like. Because I covered a NASCAR series race very early on. But if you're not in NASCAR, you're like, that's not big. I've covered, PGA. If you're into golf, that's big. But again, I think it depends. But I think for most sports fans, because we love basketball, I think that NBA finals that I covered was probably the biggest one that everyone's like, wow, you all were there. Because if we go back to 2016, you guys remember the teams that were there.
Yeah.
And who came up, and it was so great to be there. I remember, especially now that Oracle Arena it's no longer where the Warriors are obviously going to be playing. It's just so many memories, and I'm thankful for that opportunity. And once you get to that professional sports level rank, you have to kind of differentiate yourself and make sure like people know why you're there. And once you get to a finals, you feel like you've done the work to be the journalist that you want to be. And so after that, I feel like it was just much easier for me to kind of get into places, get credentialed. People knew my name more. And then, of course, just covering the Super Bowl now, I will say that's probably the next biggest one, just because, especially now with COVID, that was the last like huge event that I covered. Miami.
Yeah.
We had only known that was going to be like one of the last big events. I mean, there's so much more you probably would have tried to do, but it was great. It's great. There's nothing like, and I always encourage like young journalists, work your way there, because when you get there, be ready for it. But it's something that you'll never forget. But most people don't get to go to NBA finals. Most people don't get to go.
Right.
It's a privilege, and it's an honor. I'm forever thankful.
Yeah, real quick, Claire. Let me ask her one more question, because she kind of alluded to it when she was talking. I wanted to ask you, so far in your career, have you had a moment or an accomplishment, Kelsey, something that made you feel as if you have arrived or you belong in sports journalism? If so, can you share that moment with us?
Yeah, I'll say earlier this year, I found out I was the DMV Sports Media Person of the Year. I told you guys, I love the DMV. Like, I am the DMV. Like, it's my hometown. I'm near and dear to it. No one can say anything bad about this area, or I will come for you. Like, it's just that type of thing. So being able to get an award from your hometown, from people that grew up with you, saw you grow up, saw me from little Kelsey to Kelsey Nicole Nelson now, it was so special to me. There's so many greats that come through the sports scene in this area. And to do it in the nation's capital, come on. It's nothing else. I think for me, that spoke a lot, and that let me know I'm here for a purpose. People like what I'm doing, and that to me made me know that I have to keep delivering, right? Like, once you get that award, stay at that level and then get even higher. So it raised the bar for me. And again, it was just so special. I found out about it at Super Bowl. Like, what better way to find out you won an award like that than at the Super Bowl? Like, it was a lot. Very touching. I'm not usually an emotional person, but I was emotional that day.
Hey, you deserve it though. You
deserve it.
You won that trophy. Like, man, that's a big accomplishment, like, to be honest. But okay, Kelsey, let's transition to some football real quick. So I read on your bio that you was a Ravens fan. You were a big Ravens fan. So tell me, when did you start liking the Baltimore Ravens?
Oh my gosh. So I've been here since the beginning, 96. Like, it's been I told you, me and my dad would always, and it's so funny. I always tell this story. So growing up, most people in Montgomery County, they love the Washington football team. It's weird. Like, Maryland, it's like Baltimore is technically not in the DMV.
We're gonna get that. We're gonna get to that question.
Yeah.
In reasoning, but for me, I told you I grew up with family that really taught me the importance of African American history. So early on, I knew the Washington football team was the last team to integrate. So I was never allowed to root for them or cheer for them growing up. So I mean, quite naturally, me and my dad became Ravens fans. Like, Ed Reed is my all-time favorite player. Growing up with a team that had and I'm a defense person. I love a great defense.
Okay.
Defense. And that's what the Ravens team has been known for, until Derrick Henry messed that up. But we're not going to talk about that right now. But
come on. Why not? We're gonna get into that though.
Yeah, we are.
So many greats have come through that team. What they've done, I don't think people realize. Of course, I mean, we know what happened with the Mayflower, and we're not going to hold anything bad against that other team. But for a team to grow like they have and have accomplished so much so young, like, we all know, we probably should have had another Super Bowl ring, but that got up last year. But we're excited for this season should we have it. But it's just a special team. Baltimore is a special city. Charm City, like, it's nothing like it. So I've been a Ravens fan since inception, and I'll be that until I go in the ground.
Now, Kelsey, we got to apply some pressure on you here on the Wise Guys Sports Show on the Worldwide Sports Network. We have to. Last year, your team won the AFC North with a 14-2 record and was the number 1 overall seed in the AFC playoffs, but they lost in the divisional round to the Tennessee Titans 28-12. What went wrong for your Ravens, Kelsey?
Oh, I want to hear this.
Oh my gosh, and me and my friends debate about this all the time. That bye week, we had the momentum, and then the bye came, they relaxed, they got comfortable. We show up, it was rusty on the offensive side. Lamar wasn't the Lamar that we seen on that Madden cover, just the Lamar we've seen the whole season. But also the defense fell apart. It fell apart. It was embarrassing. So Derrick Henry had his way. He manhandled that defense. You think about Earl Thomas and just so many others. And I mean, it was bad. Like, it was hard for me to keep watching that game. And I just knew you just had to keep watching. Right?
Yeah.
Like, best team, and this was the best record in the Ravens franchise history. Lamar Jackson was just doing incredible things. Like, it was tough. It was tough, I think, on both sides of the ball. But honestly, I think that bye week, I think that hurt them. Like, I think they got comfortable. They started to believe the hype. When you believe that hype, they were so used to being the underdogs the entire season. Then all of a sudden, you're the favorite. You've got this. And think about it. No one was thinking about Ryan Tannehill and the Titans. Come on.